All right, everybody, thanks for joining us on our podcast today. My name is Skylar, and we are here with Miss Katie Walker.
Hi, everyone.
So, Katie, tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from? What are you up to nowadays?
Well, I graduated 2010 with a degree in filmmaking. I grew up in the beautiful, beautiful town of Cave Creek, which is way in the wild boonies of Arizona, kind of away from the nasty city life. And nowadays, I am working as a graphic designer for an engineering company.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. So, you got into technology, it sounds like, with a background in film. And did you start at a young age with that interest in technology?
Quite young, probably way too young. My dad has done film basically my entire life, so I really grew up into that world. And when I was about 11 years old, he brought me on my first film shoot to California, which was the most exciting experience for an 11-year-old that has ever happened in the history of 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just learned all about it. I became completely addicted to the life of filmmaking. And I went on every job with him ever since.
Very cool. So, what made you make that transition then from film to graphic design?
Well, I always had an interest in art. Since I could pick up a pencil, I was always drawing, whether I was in the car, which was horrible for my sense of direction because I never learned the roads. But yeah, anytime that I had a free second, I had a pencil in my hand, I was sketching, I was doodling. I just loved it, and as I grew with that, I just slowly improved my skills, and it just became a hobby that became a job.
Do you have a certain subject area that you like to draw or that you find yourself drawing more of?
I'm a total dragon geek.
Dragon?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I'm definitely more of an animal type artist. I love doing mythical creatures and stuff like wolves. It's just always been some of my favorite subject material. Humans, on the other hand, can't do worth a darn.
Just all those limbs and the fingers and
oh, yeah.
hands.
Hands. Feet are impossible.
Oh. I would see, like, proportion-wise. I'd be like, how do I do this? Cool. So tell us a little bit about, you said you're working in graphic design nowadays. Tell us a little about where you work and what you do.
Well, I work at this wonderful company called Tovi Engineering, and they do calibration equipment for companies like NASA and Boeing. And so the boss is actually a neighbor of mine, and he got introduced to me through horse care.
Oh.
Random.
Unlikely connection.
Oh, yes.
But it worked out.
And yes, and he needed a person to design a banner for his trade shows. And he saw some of my artwork just in passing and wanted me to have a go at it. And I said, what the heck? And since then, yeah, I've been doing advertisements for him for magazines and just this and that. And it's great.
That is so cool. So I hear you also have a book. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, I do. And actually, it was the book that got me the job. When he saw the cover of it and the artwork that I did for that, he was like, you know what? You just might work. But yeah, that was just another one of my pet projects and little side loves. I've always enjoyed writing, and I had this one story that I've been cooking in my brain since probably 8 years old. And one day I just decided, you know what? Let's see if I can do this. And I put the pen to the paper, and for about 2 years, just kind of hemmed and hawed over the story, and eventually it became the first book of a trilogy, and I was lucky enough to be able to get it published.
Nice. So there's 3 books. You started at age 8.
Yes.
Okay. So is the last one finished, or is it an ongoing project?
I'm actually on book 2 right now. I only started seriously writing about maybe 3 years ago. Took me about 2 years to get the first book done and out and all the art done for it, and so now I'm, during my lunch break at work, I'm typing up as much as I can, and it's a bit slow, but I'm still pursuing it.
Nice. I don't know about all y'all out there, but I am dying. What is on the cover of your book that sparked your now boss's interest?
On the cover, it's a portrait of a Fenris wolf, which is basically a giant wolf of Norse mythology that can set itself on fire.
Whoa!
Pretty awesome. And then it has like ancient runes carved in the sides, and yeah, he saw the wolf and was like, hey.
So what's the storyline? Does the storyline follow these wolves?
The wolf is definitely one of the main characters. The book is called The Lost, and the series is Otherworlds. And it basically follows a young boy and his sister as they're traveling to different mythological worlds trying to save their youngest sister who is kidnapped. It's kind of, if I had to compare it to a storyline type, I would say Chronicles of Narnia-ish, in that type of genre.
Nice. That's exciting. So you already kind of have a vision for the third book as you're plugging away at the second one?
Oh yeah, the whole trilogy, it's all plotted out and ready in my mind. I just gotta fill in those details. And I tell you, the characters still surprise me, still come up with things that I'm like, hey, I didn't have that planned, but it works.
So as you kind of develop the story, they really build a whole personality and a life of their own, and
they totally do. It's crazy. It's almost creepy sometimes. I'm writing, I'm going, no, you're not supposed to do that, but you know what, actually that might be better.
Oh, so you feel like you kind of form a bond with those characters as you're going on, and
very much so. They always say that a part of you comes into who you write, and it is true, and a part of other people too.
You notice like some of your friends will get picked up in that at all, or you try to avoid that?
Well, you always have to have something to base off of. So there is, I try not to blatantly take a personality of someone, but there always is vague basing.
Fun. So we'll start out with, what programs do you use for, like, I know nothing about graphic design and even where to begin for that. So what would you tell someone who's just starting out, and then what are some of your favorite programs to use to make your artwork come to life?
Well, definitely my favorite program, the one that I learned on, was Photoshop. And it's kind of the nice, basic jack of all trades. You can do just a little bit of everything. It doesn't do the real detail specific, but it lets you kind of dip toes in all the different areas. And I definitely recommend getting a tablet, because without that, I am lost. It helps so much in the artwork and just helping the quality come out. And then I'd say for the newest program that I've learned is Illustrator. And Illustrator is fantastic for doing vector work and just the really clean lines.
So what is vector work for all those out there like me who don't know what that is?
So basically, when you go on and you look for clip art or something similar to that, the very almost simplified animated style, that's an example of vector. It's basically taking an image, drawing over it, and coming up with just a very clean clip art style finished product.
Okay. So it's not the outline itself. It's just a very clean,
kind of cookie cutter. Yeah, you can easily make any type of shape and like flawless lines, and you can do lines that no matter how much you zoom in or how big you make them, it will not degrade in quality, and it's fantastic for computer work.
Very cool. Oh, I love that. Okay, we're learning, guys. This is good. So any other advice you would give to people who are just starting out, maybe in art in general, from sketching to the more complex on a tablet, or just who want to take their art now to the next level?
Don't give up. That is like the biggest thing. I have seen so many people who draw something and go, oh, I'm no good, and then they don't even try. And you know what? We all start rough. And even I look at my stuff now and I go, oh my gosh, this is so horrible. How can I ever, do anything with this? But, you just gotta keep at it. And if you really love it, you just do some every day and just keep on building and keep on learning. There are some great tutorials out there on how to just improve on different styles. And just perseverance, and you will see a remarkable improvement.
So did you teach yourself then most of these concepts?
I did. I have actually never taken an art class. I just love it so much. I checked out books. I just learned as much as I could, and a lot was just, I would take a certain subject that I wanted to learn how to draw, and I would go over it over and over and over and over until I improved, and then bam.
Very exciting. So you said your first book is officially published.
It is.
So where can our listeners find this book?
The amazing Amazon.com. Who doesn't love Amazon?
And can you remind everyone of the name of this book for us?
Absolutely. It's Otherworlds, which is all one word, and the first book is called The Lost.
Awesome. Well, if you have any other questions for Katie, go ahead and send us an email or just contact me, and we'll be able to reach out to Katie and maybe get some answers for you guys. But thanks so much for coming on the show today, Katie, and
Thank you, Skylar.
sharing your story and a little bit of tips of the trade to get into graphic design and art.